Hi there. Yeah, this is a pretty heavy topic. I have to say, I had a miscarriage. Obviously, I don't wish this on anyone, but it happens a lot, actually, and we hide it, or there's not much spoken about. And so when you experience this, you have no clue that it happening more or often, but also what are the next steps that you can expect. So when I had this miscarriage, I was 9 weeks. At 10 weeks, we had the ultrasound, and then we came there super happy, wanting to like have this first ultrasound, first time pregnant. And then we have this devastating news that there was no heartbeat. And after that, you have to go to the doctor to get an extra ultrasound to be sure that it's not, that there is no heartbeat, and then you get these abortion pills to clean up your body. So first you take one to get the abortion, and then after you have to take another pills to make sure it comes loose and it gets out. And some people, for some, the experience is super painful. Personally, I didn't experience that, so I can't talk about that. But for me personally, it wasn't like super painful. It was messy, but not painful. But then, if you're lucky, then that is it, and it comes all out, and it's over, and then you have to wait, and then your cyclist and your period and your cyclist will restart again. If you're not lucky, like I was, then it can take up to 3 months. So what happened was not all the tissue came out, so I had a lot of dead tissue still in my body and we needed to get it out. Also, with these appointments at the doctor, what I didn't like is that they say, okay, this is what we can do, or this is what we can do, but they didn't prepare like, okay, it can take quite a while, or these are the steps, and it is sadly common that it can happen. So I felt like I was, how to say, like sort of misguided and sort of mistreated, or the emotional support could have been better from the doctors, and especially also that saying like, okay, because you get 2 options. So with the 2 options, the first one is the curettage. And with the curettage, they can explain to you, it's like, okay, we will bring you to sleep, and then we will scrap it all clean, and then it's all over and it's finished. But they do explain that with that one, you have more risk, because they scrap through the sides and to the walls, and because of that, they can, it's possible they can make small cuts and small wounds on that side. And then if you want to get pregnant afterwards, it can bring scar tissue, and that scar tissue can become like in the way of having a good nestling for the next pregnancy. So obviously I didn't want that, because we do want to get pregnant again. Yeah, so we didn't want that. And because of that, I chose the second option, and the second option is the hysteroscopy. And with that one, they use water to blow it up, and then they cut out the dead tissue. But because it's so blown up and they use that water, obviously you cannot have more than 2 liters of water in your body. So in the end, if they use the 2 liters, they have to stop. This they explained, but they didn't say like, okay, but it can be then that we didn't cut out all the tissue, and that you have to have a second one, for example. And and then it can take a longer time. So they don't tell you these things. So you have the feeling that you never get clean, or that you are chosen the wrong treatment, and maybe the second one you should do the curettage, but you don't want to do it because of the risk, and it messes up with your mind a lot. But so I felt very weak from it because I had a lot of water in my system. They needed to get out. We needed to see also that the leftovers maybe would come out naturally, so we don't have to do a second one. So you have to wait, and then with that waiting, we clearly can see, okay, there's still that tissue, it doesn't come out, we have to do a second treatment. Now would be obviously probably that it would be that we can finish it all, because most of it is already out. So there was obviously a lot left behind. Whew. I keep talking, but it is quite heavy and intense actually still for me, because it was a very intense time. But yeah, so I did a second one, and then eventually, finally, I was clean. But it took me 3 months. So the max sense, like, hopefully after you had the pills, it comes out, you're clean, and it's all good to go. Or you can choose for the curettage if you want it to be faster to be over. But the max time is around 3 months to get clean from a miscarriage. It is intense, but yeah, it was all worth it, because afterwards, when we were clean, I had to be sure, like, I had 2 or 3 times my period, so I knew my cycle was all right. Then I got pregnant again, and then I had this little beautiful girl. So it was all worth the effort. Definitely, but it was a hard time, because you have to imagine that for 3 months your body is you have to imagine that your body for 3 months is in this in-between period. You're not pregnant anymore, but it doesn't have a cycle either. So for your feeling over your hormones, your body is still sort of pregnant, but it's not pregnant. So it is such a weird feeling, and you don't feel like yourself, and it's quite heavy and intense. And then 3 months is a long time. So if you would like to talk about it, or you have any questions, or you're sadly going through something similar at this point, feel free to reach out and talk. Let's talk about it, because I think personally it really, really helps if you have people around you, or someone to talk to that understands how you feel, how you are feeling, because you have been going through the same thing.